Just in case anyone forgot, it's been 8 years. Why is this singer still fighting for her freedom?
Fight back! Push back! Fight back!
What happened 17 years ago that traumatized this singer forever?
Let's talk about the Kesha, Dr. Luke controversy.
Kesha's music producer, who was supposed to be her mentor, has deeply hurt her. He is being accused of criminal behavior towards Kesha, and what he allegedly did is so disturbing, she alleged she was in the ER. Kesha is so desperate, she has sent secret messages to her fans. Dr. Luke has tortured me and my family. The allegations are so serious, Kesha has taken her battle to court, and the fight has been ongoing since October 2014. The world has heard her message, and many celebrities have supported her, including Lady Gaga, Taylor Swift, and Ariana Grande. Kesha's fans are devoted to helping Kesha escape her troubling situation.
Free Kesha now! Free Kesha now!
People everywhere seem to be on her side.
You just have to use your common sense. What would Kesha gain, and why are so many people rallying behind her and around her and not Dr. Luke?
So why isn't she free yet?
Free Kesha now! Free Kesha now!
It's more of like a, we have all the power, you have nothing, know your place kind of situation.
Now she's being sued for defamation. Is there something dirty happening behind the scenes? No, we need to investigate the judge. Someone is being paid under the table. Let's take a look at how this all started and where we are now. For a lot of young people, achieving stardom is their goal. They dream of standing on a big stage and performing for thousands. However, not everyone is aware of the dark side of the industry. One celebrity chased her dreams during her teenage years, but little did she know, things aren't always as dazzling as they appear. Kesha Rose Seabird is a singer-songwriter best known for songs like TikTok, Die Young, and her feature in Timber. She achieved her goal of stardom when she dropped out of high school and moved from Nashville to Los Angeles at the age of 17. She sang with top artists, and her first album hit #1 on the charts on the day it was released. Kesha took the music industry by storm, accumulating 10 top 10 hits in her career. She was on top of the world. But her career stopped dead in its tracks after the release of her second album, Warrior. What happened to Kesha? In order to answer that, we have to go back to 2005. Kesha met someone who would change her life forever, in the most unfortunate way. In September 2005, 18-year-old Kesha met Lucas Gottwald, known professionally as Dr. Luke. Dr. Luke was famous for having worked with Kelly Clarkson, producing her hit song Since You Been Gone. After hearing Kesha's demo, he signed her to his label Cash Money under a 6-album contract. A month later, in October 2005, Kesha met up with Dr. Luke at heiress Nikki Hilton's birthday party. While at the party, Kesha claimed to have been given what Dr. Luke called sober pills, which were allegedly the SA drug GHB. After the party, Kesha's mom, Peeb Seabird, claimed to have received a call from her daughter saying she had been SA'd and was thinking about going to the hospital. Kesha decided against the hospital visit because she was worried an SA case would overshadow her music career. Despite a horrific start to stardom, Kesha continued to push forward and secure more business opportunities. According to BuzzFeed, in 2006, Kesha signed a management contract with DAS Communications, which was known for working with the Black Eyed Peas. However, this upset Dr. Luke, who had been trying to sign Kesha with his friend Larry Rudolph, who managed Britney Spears. Kesha spent the next 2 years with no communication with Dr. Luke. She stayed with DAS Communications, but allegedly grew frustrated when no other label would sign her, according to Dr. Luke. Some believe the contract with Dr. Luke kept the labels away. Kesha's mother also claimed she had received a call from Kesha stating that Dr. Luke had told her she had 24 hours to fire her lawyer and sign back with his company, and that her daughter felt trapped. In 2009, she left DAS and reunited with Dr. Luke and was featured on Flo Rida's hit song Right Round. According to Billboard, her role was uncredited and unpaid. This was also the year Kesha released her debut single TikTok, which would later appear on her debut album Animal in early 2010. TikTok stayed at #1 on the Billboard charts for 9 weeks and set a record for the largest digital sales week. Animal debuted at #1 with over 151K albums sold in its first week. TikTok would go on to spend 38 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100. Things seemed to be going well for Kesha with her successful debut, but something unexpected happened. Bad business practices were coming to light. In May 2010, after the success from Animal, Kesha's old management, DAS Communications, filed a $14 million lawsuit against Kesha in New York. The company claimed Kesha had breached her contract because Dr. Luke influenced her to leave them, and they had spent a considerable amount of time and money on her career, also claiming they had lined up a record deal with Warner Brothers Entertainment. However, Billboard later reported the deal fell apart at the last minute because there were too many unanswered questions surrounding Kesha's contract with Dr. Luke. The lawsuit was filed in state court in Manhattan, New York, and sought $14 million from Kesha and $12 million from Dr. Luke. Kesha's lawyer, Charles Ortner, claimed Kesha was entitled to end her relationship with the firm. Then things started to get messy when DAS decided to share personal details about Kesha from nearly 6 years ago. Her essay story would make its way into the public eye for the first time. In 2011, the DAS case revealed Kesha had allegedly told people in her personal and professional life that Dr. Luke had engaged in certain unethical and unlawful actions against her, and she had no desire to work with him. But something Kesha said during this case was key evidence that would come back to bite her in the future. In a video deposition for the DAS case, Kesha testified under oath that Dr. Luke never made inappropriate advances towards her.
Did Dr. Luke ever give you a roofie?
No.
When asked if Kesha told her mother that she woke up in Dr. Luke's hotel room bed, Kesha responded, "I don't remember." When asked if her mother ever complained about Dr. Luke making advances on Kesha, Kesha replied,
I know that Dr. Luke never made advances at me. So
this would later be used against Kesha by Dr. Luke's legal team. Kesha's team later claimed that Dr. Luke threatened her safety and livelihood at the time. Kesha was ordered to pay slightly over half of the money DAS claimed they were owed. Dr. Luke went on to co-found Kemosabe Records, a Sony imprint, and brought Kesha to the new label to record music. Within the next few years, Kesha dropped hidden messages for the public. One cry for help was so desperate it'll break your heart. In 2012, Kesha received backlash after her song Die Young was released around the time of the Sandy Hook tragedy. Multiple radio stations pulled the song from rotation out of respect for the families affected. On December 18th, Kesha tweeted, "I understand. I had my very own issue with Die Young for this reason. I did not want to sing those lyrics, and I was forced to." However, the tweet was deleted soon after and was replaced with an apology from the singer. In 2013, things continued to go downhill for Kesha as her relationship with Dr. Luke became professionally strained. With her album Warrior, Kesha wanted to make rock music rather than the party girl dance pop she was known for at the time. It was implied that Kesha didn't have control over the kind of music she got to make. When The New Yorker asked about Kesha, Dr. Luke claimed he hadn't heard from her in a while. In January 2014, Kesha checked into a Chicago rehab for treatment for an ED. According to TMZ, Kesha told her doctors that Dr. Luke had physically harmed her. TMZ sources said Kesha's doctor notes would become evidence in her trial. Allegedly, the doctors told Kesha to stay as far away from Dr. Luke as possible. A representative for Dr. Luke denied the allegations and accused Kesha and her mother of fabricating the doctor story in a comment to TMZ. The public knew things were serious when Kesha began leaving hidden messages for fans. She wrote letters to fans during her rehab stay, and a few of them were shared online. "Dr. Luke has tortured me and my family. He did do what people know about, and so much more terrible. These music business assholes, well, Dr. Luke, had almost successfully crushed my magic, but that didn't win. I love you very much and need the support so much right now. Someone I work with has literally driven me into this disease, tortured me, and f***ed with me and my family. I'm very lonely here. I just have lost control of healthy perspective when someone who I work with called me a refrigerator and he made fun of my body and weight. It was just so hurtful. I'm here working out some emotional trauma and abuse. There is someone I work with that is so abusive." BuzzFeed discovered these 5 letters on social media and was able to confirm the authenticity of 3 of them. Dr. Luke's lawyer, Christine LaPera, provided a previously shared statement that called Kesha's claim spectacular and outrageous fiction. Kesha's lawyer, Mark Garagos, did not respond to questions at the time. Early 2014 was also when Kesha decided to drop the $sign from her name, explaining she let go of a facade about being a girl who didn't care. By fall 2014, Kesha decided it was time to stand up for herself. She finally spoke her truth after lying about it 3 years ago. In October 2014, Kesha filed a lawsuit in California against Dr. Luke for SA and abuse. Kesha listed SA and battery among many other damages. The lawsuit document revealed in detail what happened the night Kesha called her mom and many other disturbing incidents. In a segment titled Dr. Luke's Abusive Beginnings with Miss Siebert, Kesha shared how it all began. Kesha alleged when she arrived in LA, Dr. Luke was too busy with other high-profile artists and didn't provide time, guidance, or support for Kesha's career. Things got strange when Dr. Luke allegedly boasted and bragged to Kesha about he liked to get girls drunk on the first date and f them in the app. Dr. Luke also allegedly spoke about his pregnant wife to Kesha, alleging he blackmailed his wife to get an abortion or he would not speak with her and leave her if she refused. Dr. Luke also allegedly told Kesha he went to parties and nightclubs to engage in explicit intimate activities with other women in these public settings. Kesha and her team believe Dr. Luke told Kesha about these situations because he allegedly wanted to intimidate and torment the young Kesha and to desensitize her so Dr. Luke could eventually engage in the same type of despicable and prurient conduct with Kesha. Kesha alleged Dr. Luke isolated her from her family and friends when she came to LA. She alleged Dr. Luke physically and verbally abused her for a decade in order to make her feel completely worthless and maintain complete control over her life. Kesha also alleged Dr. Luke violently abused her by forcing her to take narcotics and alcohol in order to SA her while she was intoxicated. Kesha also alleged the doctor in his stage name Dr. Luke stemmed from dealing narcotics to entertainers when he was a guitarist in the SNL live band. Kesha described multiple instances where Dr. Luke allegedly took advantage of her with substances. Kesha alleged on one occasion before they boarded a flight, Dr. Luke allegedly forced her to snort an illicit narcotic and when on the plane, allegedly continuously forced himself on Kesha while she was intoxicated. She later vomited on herself due to her intoxicated state. On another occasion, Kesha claimed Dr. Luke forced her to have a drink with him and instructed her to take pills, which he claimed would help her sober up. Kesha took the pills and woke up the next day unclothed in Dr. Luke's hotel room in his bed. She said she felt sore and sick with no memory of how she got there. Kesha alleged she called her mom right away, told her Dr. Luke forcibly slept with her while she was intoxicated. She told her mom she needed to go to the emergency room. She later learned the sober pills Dr. Luke allegedly gave her were a form of GHB, a narcotic used for SA. Kesha also alleged after the hotel incident, Dr. Luke took her down to the beach alone and threatened that if she told anyone about his behavior towards her, he would destroy both Kesha and her entire family. At the time, Kesha said she didn't publicize the incidents because she wholly believed that Dr. Luke had the power and money to carry out his threats. Kesha also accused Dr. Luke of long-term psychological and emotional abuse involving fat shaming, claiming he told her she wasn't pretty or talented and called her names surrounding her weight. She also alleged she nearly lost her life due to Dr. Luke's alleged pressure to starve herself. Doctors allegedly told Kesha her blood pressure and sodium levels were similar to levels found in patients following a heart attack or stroke. Kesha claimed she'd suffered from panic attacks, severe depression, social isolation, and PTSD because of what she endured from Dr. Luke. The lawsuit had the goal of getting release from her contract, claiming Dr. Luke's alleged actions were in breach of contract. That same day, Dr. Luke filed a countersuit in New York to fight Kesha's claims. The countersuit was filed in New York against Kesha, her mother Peeb, and her manager Jack Rovner, claiming defamation. Dr. Luke claimed all of Kesha's recent allegations were lies and brought up the deposition from 2011 where Kesha previously denied the allegations. In late October 2014, Dr. Luke filed a separate defamation case against Peeb in Tennessee where she lives. He filed it in Peeb's home state because he was worried her legal team would argue he wouldn't have jurisdiction in New York. According to the Crime Museum, there are factors to consider when determining jurisdiction, deciding if the court will try the case, which include location, type of crime, and subject. According to Find Law, if a court does not have jurisdiction over the case, the court has no authority to decide a case. In other words, location was an important factor for Dr. Luke's decision to file a case against Peeb. A few months later, things got confusing when another individual was dragged into the case. In December 2014, Lady Gaga said in a radio interview that she was SA'd by an anonymous producer when she was 19. Kesha's lawyer, Mark Garagos, who is famous for defending celebrities such as Winona Ryder and Michael Jackson, suggested on Twitter that Dr. Luke SA'd Lady Gaga. This allegation was denied by both parties. A rep for Dr. Luke called Garagos' statement false and defamatory and said during the 2 brief moments Dr. Luke met Gaga, he never touched her. Lady Gaga's publicist said Garagos' statement was ridiculous and simply isn't true. Dr. Luke would later file a defamation lawsuit against Mark Garagos over the incident. The next day, Kesha's mom Peeb countersued Dr. Luke, claiming he had caused her PTSD and the stress of the alleged abuse had caused her to be medicated. 7 months later, Kesha shared a shocking piece of information from Dr. Luke's co-founded Sony imprint, and the situation got messy due to minor details. On June 10, 2015, Kesha added Sony to her lawsuit, claiming they knew about the abuse and enabled it. According to documents obtained by The Hollywood Reporter, Kesha believed other female artists were in danger because Dr. Luke had full creative and business control, claiming this caused the artist to become dependent on his goodwill. The amended lawsuit also stated Kesha believed Sony executives turned a blind eye to Dr. Luke's actions and failed to investigate them, meaning Sony should be partially responsible. On June 17th, Kesha's California lawsuit was halted at the request of Dr. Luke's legal team. Dr. Luke's team claimed that according to Kesha's contract with Kemosabe Records, litigation related to the contract had to take place in New York. Kesha's lawyers argued that 18-year-old Kesha didn't freely enter into the contract and New York wasn't at the center of the lawsuit's issues. But this didn't matter. A California judge told Kesha that if she wanted to move forward with the case, it would have to happen in New York. Around 4 months later, Kesha shocked the public by taking emergency action. In September 2015, Kesha filed an emergency preliminary injunction, which is a court order that requires a person to do or stop doing a specific action. Kesha believed she would suffer irreparable harm unless she was protected by the injunction. Kesha's lawyer argued that because of the contract, she can't work with other producers. Therefore, she can't put out new music or merchandise, which would mean her career could plummet. In support of their argument, Kesha submitted an affidavit from Jim Urey, who was president and CEO of Universal Music Group Distribution, which said, "No mainstream distribution company will invest the money necessary to distribute songs for an artist who has fallen from the public eye, as is happening to Kesha at this very moment. Accordingly, if Kesha cannot immediately resume recording and having her music promoted, marketed, and distributed by a major label, her career is effectively over." Sony weighed in on the conversation and claimed they were caught in the crossfire. They filed a dismissal of claims, saying, "This admission that Siebert never spoke of or reported the alleged misconduct is fatal to each and every one of her claims against Sony and Kemosabe Records. In short, Siebert cannot have it both ways. She cannot claim that Gottwald intimidated her into silence, then, as an apparent afterthought, seek to hold Sony and Kemosabe Records liable for failing to act on conduct that she did not report." On November 28, 2015, Kesha shared a post to her Instagram of fans showing their support for her freedom. "I'm crying. Thank you. Thank you." And with that, 2015 came to an end with no resolution. A couple of months into 2016, the case began to pick up again, and Kesha's mom continued to speak up. On February 2nd, 2016, Kesha's mom, Peeb, had an outburst on Twitter. She claimed Dr. Luke was blackmailing her for songwriting credits on Kesha's hit song Timber and was refusing to pay 15 other songwriters, which include Kesha. She said this was her punishment for telling the truth about him. A day later, on February 3rd, 2016, Peeb had a small victory. Dr. Luke's defamation lawsuit against Peeb and Kesha's manager was dismissed due to lack of jurisdiction, but Kesha's situation wasn't getting any better. On February 19th, 2016, Kesha lost the temporary injunction to enter contract with Dr. Luke. The judge said, "You're asking the court to decimate a contract that was heavily negotiated and typical for the industry." The judge explained nullifying Kesha's contract would undermine the state's laws governing contracts. So, the judge ruled there was no irreparable harm done, adding Sony allowed her to record music without Dr. Luke. But Kesha said she feared Sony wouldn't promote her music heavily if she didn't work with Dr. Luke because he's Sony's biggest hitmaker. Kesha's lawyer, Mark Garagos, said the situation was illusory and setting her up to fail. The judge's decision left Kesha sobbing in court. Fans couldn't accept Kesha's new fate. dozens of fans protested outside the courthouse as she exited the building.
Free Kesha now! Free Kesha now! Free Kesha now!
Kesha hugged one of the weeping fans, Lindsay Scarpa, who told her, "You don't deserve this at all. It's unfair." This was the start of the Free Kesha movement.
The hashtag Free Kesha has been trending now on Twitter for months, and today it has reached over 1 million tweets.
There was an outpouring of support on social media from other celebrities. Kesha's mother said Taylor Swift donated $250,000 to support Kesha. Fiona Apple wrote, "Kesha, I am so angry for you. They were wrong. I'm so sorry." Miley Cyrus shared Fiona's photo on her Instagram. Lady Gaga wrote, "There are people all over the world who love you, Kesha, and I can say truly I am in awe of your bravery." Demi Lovato wrote, "Free Kesha. Prayers are with you." Halsey dedicated a performance to Kesha. Lily Allen wrote, "I'm sorry you've had to endure this experience." Ariana Grande wrote, "My heart is with Kesha." Lorde wrote, "Standing with Kesha through this traumatic, deeply unfair time." Kelly Clarkson quote tweeted a post that said, "This is some legit bull. Free Kesha." JoJo wrote, "It is a terrible feeling to not own your voice, be able to release music." Alessia Cara wrote, "No one should be denied freedom from their abuser, nor freedom of their creativity." Then Dr. Luke spoke up, shocking the world with his nonchalant behavior. On February 22, 2016, Dr. Luke spoke out for the first time without lawyers, defending himself on his Twitter page. "I didn't Kesha, and I have never had sex with her. Kesha and I were friends for many years, and she was like my little sister. They are getting behind an allegation only, motivated by money." 2 days later, Kesha responded in an emotional Facebook letter, and her fans were quick to take action. "All I ever wanted was to be able to make music without being afraid, scared, or abused. This case has never been about a renegotiation of my record contract. It was never about getting a bigger or a better deal. This was about being free from my abuser. I would be willing to work with Sony if they do the right thing and break all ties that bind me to my abuser." Kesha spoke to other survivors, telling them not to be afraid to speak out, and she will stand behind them. The next day, Kesha's fans planned to protest outside Sony's headquarters to encourage Sony to release Kesha from her contract. However, Sony said they couldn't help Kesha even if they wanted to. Sony's lawyers told the New York Times that Sony has made it possible for Kesha to work without Dr. Luke, but they were legally unable to terminate the contract. Even though Sony had their hands tied, Free Kesha supporters still protested outside the headquarters. Care2 online organizing strategist Lacey Coolmoose released a statement. Whether or not Kesha's music affected someone personally, this case represents the unfair treatment of SA survivors around the globe. It is important for Sony to see the uproar they have caused, so protesters are bringing it right to their front door. By spring of 2016, another celebrity spoke up, sharing her unfair working conditions with Dr. Luke. On March 7, 2016, in an interview with Kiss 106.5, Kelly Clarkson claimed she was blackmailed by her label to work with Dr. Luke. Kelly worked with Dr. Luke on her 2 hit singles, Since You've Been Gone and My Life Would Suck Without You. Allegedly, Sony told Kelly that if she didn't work with Dr. Luke, they wouldn't release her album. Kelly told the radio station that Dr. Luke was not a good guy. All through spring and into the beginning of summer 2016, Kesha tried to take control of her life again, sharing serious statements, working on rebuilding her career, and sharing another hidden message. On March 21, 2016, Kesha's legal team appealed the judge's decision on her temporary injunction, comparing it to an outdated practice where people are held in captivity and forced to do labor. Around 2 weeks later, on April 3, 2016, Kesha revealed Dr. Luke requested an offer of freedom to settle the messy situation. He allegedly asked her to recant her abuse and SA claims. Kesha refused, saying, "I will not take back the truth. I would rather let the truth ruin my career than lie for a monster ever again." A few days later, on April 6, 2016, the judge refuted Kesha's abuse and forced labor claims, adding that rejecting Sony's offer to work without Dr. Luke's involvement meant Kesha was acting unreasonably. Shockingly, the judge also said, "Every rape is not a gender-motivated hate crime." Despite the bad news, Kesha continued to rebuild her career by performing at Coachella, Dylan Fest, announcing a tour with Major Lazer, and releasing a single with Zedd. By April 27, 2016, Kesha's mom Peeb voluntarily dropped her countersuit against Dr. Luke, claiming it was a nightmare for her, and she decided to find forgiveness rather than dwell in the cancerous past of an ongoing lawsuit with no end in sight. A week later, on May 3rd, 2016, Kesha removed Mark Garagos from her legal team. It's unclear why, but it's likely due to Dr. Luke's defamation lawsuit against him. Kesha also shared a subliminal message during this time. She shared a photo of a fan's tattoo that read, "I have no master." The line is from Kesha and Zed's song's True Colors, which speaks about breaking out of captivity and showing self-appreciation. Some of the lyrics read, "I've escaped my capture, and I have no master. One page at a time, I'll show you my true colors." On May 11th, 2016, Kesha secured a spot at the Billboard Music Awards, where TMZ reported she would be reportedly doing a statement performance. Dr. Luke, worried Kesha would speak about their legal battle, revoked approval for Kesha to perform at the award ceremony. Kesha was quick to explain her intentions, claiming she was simply going to perform a tribute to Bob Dylan. "I just want to make very clear that this performance was about me honoring one of my favorite songwriters of all time, and has never had anything at all to do with Dr. Luke." A few days later, on May 19th, 2016, Kesha was once again granted permission to perform at the award ceremony under the condition that Kesha does not mention the lawsuits. Then, the summer of 2016 approached, and Kesha dropped a video that seemed to have a subliminal message.
"Hi guys! Are you coming to hang this summer?"
On July 19th, 2016, Kesha announced tickets were going on sale for her summer tour. However, in the video, Kesha said,
"I'm playing songs you've never heard me play before, and I may never play again,"
seeming to suggest she may be struggling with her music career. Shortly after, in August 2016, Kesha dropped her California case against Dr. Luke in an effort to rebuild her music career. According to Kesha's lawyer, she gave her label 28 new songs to release an album and single. Kesha didn't give up on all her legal cases. She reassured fans she would still be fighting for her rights in New York, where a judge previously dismissed her SA claims against Dr. Luke in April 2016. Dr. Luke was also continuing to fight. He couldn't let things go, not when it affected his career so severely. By fall 2016, Dr. Luke decided to come for Kesha's mom once again. September 2016, Dr. Luke filed another lawsuit against Peeb, claiming defamation. The lawsuit accused Kesha and her mom of conspiring a campaign of publishing false and shocking accusations against Dr. Luke. Dr. Luke also claimed he had to file new claims as Peeb did not approve an amendment of the first complaint that would include the alleged new offenses. As things shifted into the new year of 2017, the situation became even worse when two other celebrities were dragged into the case, causing a personal interaction to go public. On January 4th, 2017, E! News obtained court documents from a court status hearing a month prior. The judge received sealed text documents between Kesha and Lady Gaga. Due to the contents of the documents, the judge was legally able to share the text with Lady Gaga and Katy Perry, as they were both mentioned. It wasn't known at the time what Katy's involvement was, as the content of the texts remained private. On January 31st, 2017, Dr. Luke threatened to sue Kesha over a text message she sent to Gaga claiming Kesha and another unnamed female artist were allegedly SA'd by Dr. Luke. These were different texts that were sent 1 week after Kesha had lost her injunction. Dr. Luke claimed Kesha and her reps were sending defamatory statements and encouraging bogus internet petitions, all in an effort to have her contract terminated. In a separate filing, Kesha claimed Dr. Luke didn't support her music. Not one song has been approved, no release date has been set, and there's been no agreement on the critical issue of whether the album will be promoted. Kesha also claimed Dr. Luke had been withholding funds from Kesha from her feature in the hit song Timber. Not long after, things took a turn when private information came to light. On February 15th, 2017, Kesha released emails allegedly from Dr. Luke to support her claims about his emotional abuse. The emails were submitted to the court and were seen by the New York Post. In one email between Dr. Luke and Kesha's manager, Monica Cornea, Dr. Luke allegedly criticized Kesha for breaking her juice cleanse with Diet Coke and turkey. He allegedly said she broke her diet plan many times and wanted to discuss how she can be more disciplined. Monica seemed to be more understanding of Kesha and allegedly wrote, "She's a human and not a machine," to which Dr. Luke allegedly responded, "If she were a machine, that would be way cool and we could do whatever we want." Dr. Luke also allegedly claimed many songwriters and producers producers didn't want to work with Kesha because of her weight. In another email, Dr. Luke and Kesha discussed lyrics for what would become Kesha's single Crazy Kids. Dr. Luke allegedly wanted Kesha to sing "You See Us in the Club, Sip, Sip and Bub," but Kesha said she didn't go to clubs and wanted to change the line to "You See Us in the Streets, we da freaks." In response to Kesha's feedback, Dr. Luke allegedly said, "I don't give a shit what you want. If you were smart, you would go in and sing it." Dr. Luke's lawyer sent a statement to Rolling Stone and claimed the emails were out of context and misleading because Kesha did not show a larger record of evidence. Dr. Luke's lawyer added, "It also shows the tremendous support that Dr. Luke provided Kesha regarding artistic and personal issues, including Kesha's own concerns over her weight." By spring of 2017, Dr. Luke's legal team continued to find ways to fight back. On March 10, 2017, Dr. Luke's lawyers wanted to subpoena Kesha's fan, Michael Eisel. This meant they made a formal written order to summon Michael to appear in court. The reason for this was Dr. Luke's lawyers believed Michael closely coordinated with Kesha to spread Kesha's defamatory statements and tarnish Dr. Luke's reputation. Michael has a history of supporting Kesha's legal battle. Michael runs the Kesha Today Twitter account, which he labeled the official Twitter account for the Free Kesha movement. Michael also organized 2 Free Kesha protests outside the Sony Music headquarters in New York and created a petition to remove Kesha from her label that garnered over 265,000 supporters. Dr. Luke's lawyers also accused Kesha and her mom of encouraging and assisting Michael with his protests. The judge granted the request to summon Michael to court. However, it's unclear if Dr. Luke's lawyers followed through, as the public did not hear about Michael again afterwards. Things continued to get worse for Kesha when the court turned their back against her due to improper evidence. On March 21, 2017, Kesha and her legal team went to court with an amended countersuit to try to break her contract for the 3rd time. Kesha's team requested to terminate Kesha's contract with Dr. Luke after her 3rd album and argued it would be impractical for Kesha to keep working with Dr. Luke due to his alleged abuse and good faith violations. The judge rejected the countersuit and ruled that Kesha could not claim Dr. Luke's allegedly abusive behavior was unforeseeable because Kesha admitted that Dr. Luke's alleged abuse began at the outset of their relationship in 2005, seeming to imply Kesha should have known she was at risk when she signed the contract. A number of other arguments were shut down by the judge, such as unpaid royalties, showing evidence that Kesha owed Dr. Luke $1.3 million in unpaid royalties. Another major argument that was shut down involved labor laws. Kesha's team used California's labor laws to argue the contract should have ended after 7 years, but the judge denied this because the lawsuit was being handled in New York courts and was therefore not subject to California law. Kesha's team also argued that Sony's deal with Dr. Luke was ending by April, making Kesha's situation worse because she would have no go-between. The judge also denied this argument because it was too speculative. But Kesha was not the only one in the deep end. On April 25, 2017, Dr. Luke was removed as the head of Kemosabe Records. A court filing dated April 21, 2017 stated that Kemosabe Records was wholly owned by Sony Music Entertainment. Lucas Gottwald is no longer the CEO and does not have any authority to act on its behalf. However, Dr. Luke still works for Kemosabe. He's just no longer the CEO. Earlier in March, the rap reported Dr. Luke was being dropped by Sony in response to public backlash. However, Dr. Luke denied the claims. By summer 2017, Dr. Luke went easy on Kesha's mom as she decided to take a back seat in the case. On June 23, 2017, Dr. Luke dropped his defamation lawsuit against Peeb. In a joint statement with Dr. Luke, Peeb admitted she had no first-hand knowledge of the events occurring on the night of the alleged. Less than a month later, Kesha shared emotional messages through her music. Was this another cry for help? Did we happen to miss it? On July 6, 2017, Kesha released her first song since her legal battles, Praying. Her song showed notes of pain and emotion. Kesha sings, "In life you're gonna get what you give, but some things only God can forgive." The emotionally charged lyrics seemed to call someone out. Some suspected it was directed at Dr. Luke. "I'm proud of who I am. No more monsters. I can breathe again. And you said that I was done. Well, you were wrong, and now the best is yet to come." The song was co-written with Ryan Lewis and was still credited to Kemosabe Records. However, it's unclear if Dr. Luke will be able to profit from it as he's no longer the CEO. Kesha wrote an essay expanding on the song, describing her feelings. This song is about coming to feel empathy for someone else, even if they hurt you or scare you. It's a song about learning to be proud of the person you are, even during low moments when you feel alone. It's also about hoping everyone, even someone who hurt you, can heal. She spoke about turning to spirituality in dark days. It is in these moments when even the most cynical among us are forced to turn to something other than ourselves. We turn to prayer or something like it. You look past your shame, past your desire to hide, and admit you need help. The song inspired fans to speak out, supporting Free Kesha. Free Kesha. What we saw as a comeback in praying was a cry for help that was ignored. Kesha has asked us for help for years and been sidelined. Nobody deserves to be forced to work alongside their abuser, especially with their abuser in charge of practically her entire career. Dr. Luke legit watched the video for praying and thought it was a good idea to pick a fight with Kesha. Aight, we'll see. Free Kesha. Throughout the rest of summer 2017, Dr. Luke continued to have an advantage in his legal battle against Kesha. He continued trying to clear his name, but this time using another celebrity to help his case. On July 29, 2017, Dr. Luke summoned Lady Gaga with a subpoena to appear in a defamation case over text messages Kesha allegedly sent Gaga claiming he forcibly slept with another artist. Gaga's representative told Rolling Stone Dr. Luke was exaggerating Lady Gaga's role. Instead, Gaga responded to the situation with a heavily redacted 4-page spreadsheet of the text message exchange, according to Dr. Luke's lawyers. There were also legal issues surrounding Kesha's music around this time. During August 2017, the anticipated release of Kesha's new album Rainbow caused some concern. The New York Times reported Dr. Luke would likely profit from Kesha's new album and may pursue producer royalties in court. Kesha's team did not comment on the situation. On August 11, 2017, the album Rainbow released, and the liner notes revealed all lyrics written by Kesha belonged to Dr. Luke, which were published through other companies Dr. Luke owns, such as Dynamite Cop Music, Where the Kaz At, DMI. With the release of Kesha's new album, people began analyzing the deeper meaning behind her new songs. In the song Him, Kesha sang, "I'm so sick of crying, darling, what's it for? I could fight forever, but life's too short," seeming to reference her legal battles against Dr. Luke. Billboard believes the line, "Life's too short," is Kesha's decision to move on with her career by releasing her album Rainbow. In the album's title track, Rainbow, Kesha sang, "Yeah, maybe my head's up, but I'm falling right back in love with being alive, dreaming in lights," seeming to acknowledge the psychological pain she suffered from Dr. Luke. The positive lyrics seem to show Kesha was making a decision to focus on herself and her music. Throughout the month of August, the defamation lawsuit was still ongoing, but this time, Lady Gaga unexpectedly stepped forward. On August 15, 2017, Lady Gaga agreed to hand over her text message exchange with Kesha in unredacted form and agreed to give a deposition on the defamation case. It would be a while before Lady Gaga got involved again. By fall 2017, another celebrity stood against Dr. Luke, American singer and songwriter Pink. Pink collaborated with Dr. Luke in 2006, but revealed in a 2017 interview that she would not work with him again, claiming he doesn't do good business, he's not a kind person, he doesn't do the right thing. Pink said she doesn't know what happened between Dr. Luke and Kesha regarding the alleged essay and verbal abuse, but said, "I know regardless of whether or not Dr. Luke did that, this is his karma and he earned it, because he's not a good person." Coming into the new year of 2018, Kesha continued to share her message, touching the hearts of other SA victims. On January 28, 2018, Kesha performed Praying at the Grammys alongside Cyndi Lauper, Camila Cabello, and Julia Michaels. Kesha delivered an emotional performance, bringing the Grammys audience to tears as she dedicated her performance and song to the Me Too movement and survivors of SA. "I hope you find your peace falling on your knees," Kesha sang. The year quickly passed by. As we reached the end of spring 2018, the legal battle became worse for Kesha, as she may no longer be able to fight for her freedom. On May 28, 2018, a New York appeals court affirmed the previous judge's ruling to reject Kesha's counterclaims, meaning she cannot make further appeals to be released from her contract. Lady Gaga came back into the picture on June 13, 2018, when Dr. Luke's team filed court documents with a text message exchange between Gaga and Kesha. An unredacted text message from February 26, 2016, revealed Kesha told Gaga that Dr. Luke forcibly slept with Katy Perry. Dr. Luke's legal team believed Gaga spread negative messages about Dr. Luke through the press and on social media with Kesha's encouragement. Dr. Luke's representative told The Blast that Katy denied the allegations Kesha made about her. Katy did not publicly comment on the situation, but she did provide a deposition, a sworn out-of-court testimony. Dr. Luke further supported his argument that Kesha damaged his reputation and career by claiming he lost out on over $10 million he would have made if he got to work on Katy Perry's 4th, 5th, and 6th albums. A couple of days later, on June 15, 2018, Kesha's legal team addressed the text exchange scandal by attempting to clarify the source of the Katy allegation. Kesha's team claimed a major record label CEO told both Kesha and Gaga about the allegation at the same time. Kesha's team also said the text message was not a private one-on-one exchange and was not published or shared elsewhere, not until Dr. Luke and his team took an email with mention of the situation and decided to publish it to millions of people. They believe Dr. Luke disclosed the private conversation for no purpose other than to attack, harass, and ultimately bankrupt Kesha. Dr. Luke's team reached out to the anonymous CEO and they denied the claim. They also added that Kesha and her team should be ashamed of themselves for not publicly apologizing for their gossip, despite it not being Kesha's fault that the texts were publicized. Despite all the negativity, Kesha had some hope when two other celebrities came forward against Dr. Luke. On June 30th, 2018, singers Pink and Avril Lavigne came to Kesha's defense against Dr. Luke with signed sworn affidavits. Both singers, who have worked with Dr. Luke in the past, claimed Kesha wasn't the reason for them choosing to no longer work with him. Pink stopped working with Dr. Luke in 2006, and Avril stopped working with Dr. Luke in 2007. Their support was important because Dr. Luke claimed he believed Kesha's accusations have cost him over $50 million. He said he would have gotten the money through producing and co-writing with artists under his label, which Dr. Luke and his legal team would seek payment for the damages in court. A representative for Dr. Luke told The Blast the ultimate amount of Dr. Luke's damages is for a jury to decide. Documents filed also showed that singers Kelly Clarkson and Adam Levine were deposed in the case. However, their full involvement is unknown. The allegations involving Katy Perry and Dr. Luke were still ongoing at this time, but Katy seemed to want to escape the situation in the summer of 2018. On August 20th, 2018, Katy's legal team filed for an emergency motion to seal her deposition, meaning she did not want her deposition to be disclosed. Katy's decision to do this came after learning the judge was ready to release her deposition. Then, the anonymous CEO was identified and revealed something that was an absolute bombshell moment about the Katy Perry allegations, making the situation more confusing than it already was. On August 27, 2018, depositions from Katy, Lady Gaga, Kelly Clarkson, and the anonymous CEO were shared. The CEO who allegedly spread the rumor was identified as John Janik from Interscope Geffen A&O Records. In Katy's deposition, she denied that Dr. Luke forcibly slept with her and any form of SA. In Gaga's deposition, she revealed Janik didn't see the allegation, but instead, he said he had heard a rumor. In Janik's deposition, he denied telling Kesha and Gaga the rumor. When asked if anyone told him about the rumor, John responded, it might have been brought up in the room. If that Kesha said that in the room when I was in the studio with her, but I'm not sure. In Kelly's deposition, she said she didn't like Dr. Luke and heard that virtually every female artist didn't like him. Dr. Luke's legal team was quick to release a statement claiming Kesha and her team used the bogus claim to put public pressure on Dr. Luke to give in to her contract demands. Kesha's team denied this statement and maintained Dr. Luke forcibly slept with Kesha and other female artists have issues with him. By fall of 2018, messages were leaked revealing how Lady Gaga privately called out Katy Perry. On November 30th, 2018, a massive document dump revealed text messages exchanged between Gaga and Kesha. The text messages showed Gaga calling Katy Perry mean for not speaking out about Dr. Luke. She claimed in the text that Katy wasn't ready to be strong about the situation and that she did her best to have empathy for her. Later that day, Gaga turned to social media to apologize for the text messages. These are old texts. We've matured, gotten over the past, love each other, and share deep respect. Katy is my friend and is truly a kind soul. End of story. 2 months later, Lady Gaga revealed why she stands with Kesha, revealing something shocking she witnessed. On January 30th, 2019, Lady Gaga's deposition from 2017 was released. The deposition stated Gaga claimed she first met Kesha at Dr. Luke's home studio, but Kesha's attire wasn't normal. Gaga said Kesha was wearing only her underwear while in the back room. She also alleged Kesha had confided in her over the years about the alleged abuse and that, as a survivor of SA, Gaga wanted to be there for her. When asked details of Kesha's alleged abuse, Lady Gaga said she couldn't recall specifics, but her emotions were evident. What I recall was her immense sadness and depression and fear. She was visibly very different than when I had seen her before. I just recall it was emotional and I wanted to be there for her. When asked why Gaga wouldn't share specifics, Lady Gaga fired back, "Why on earth would this girl tell the entire world this happened? Why on earth? Do you know what it's like for survivors? Do you know what it's like to tell people? Don't you roll your eyes at me. You should be ashamed of yourself." Kesha continued to share hidden messages through her music. On June 3, 2019, Kesha released her song Rich, White, Straight Men, which showed off the sarcastic savagery against men, remembered from her songs like Blah Blah Blah, where she told men to stop pretending to be interested in her when they just wanted to be with her, and Dinosaur, a song telling off creepy old men who hit on her. In the song, Kesha posed the question, what if rich, white, straight men didn't rule the world anymore? The song shared dreams of free healthcare, free schooling, and bodily autonomy for all. Rolling Stone noted Kesha's delivery of the song. Her delivery is cartoonish and sarcastic, like she's reached her anger epoch and can do nothing but maniacally laugh at the crushing reality of our impossibly oppressive society. They praised her for the song, calling it one of our better pop political anthems of this movement. By fall 2019, Kesha slowly moved forward in her career. On October 21, 2019, Kesha released a trailer for her fourth album, High Road, and said the album would be much more joyful. In the new year, on January 31, 2020, the album High Road was released through RCA and Kimosabe Records, and she served as executive producer. The album reached #1 on the iTunes chart the day it released. Kesha shared her joy with her fans. But things didn't stay positive for long. Kesha found herself in legal trouble, and once again, she continued to lose. On February 6, 2020, Manhattan Supreme Court Justice ruled Kesha defamed Dr. Luke because she made a false statement to Lady Gaga about Dr. Luke. The judge said there was no evidence Dr. Luke committed the alleged crime. The judge also ordered Kesha to pay $373,000 in interest to Dr. Luke because of a late payment to him for the $1.3 million in royalties she owed. Kesha's legal team planned to appeal the ruling. After a year of silence, Kesha's legal team found a glimmer of hope and made their big move. On April 6, 2021, Kesha's legal team filed documents arguing that New York's new anti-SLAPP law applied to her case. The law was put in place to prevent people who are rich and powerful from filing lawsuits meant to intimidate or silence free speech. Kesha claimed the laws should apply to the 2017 defamation lawsuits Dr. Luke filed against her SA accusations. If the lawsuits were found to be initiated in bad faith, Kesha would be awarded the cost of the legal fees spent on defending herself. The law would require Dr. Luke to prove that Kesha made defamatory statements about him as a public figure. The courts just needed to decide whether or not Dr. Luke could be considered a public figure. Unfortunately, Kesha's legal team forgot about one key factor. This would crush them in court. On April 22, 2021, the courts ruled that Dr. Luke was not a public figure and that Kesha's text to Lady Gaga was considered defamatory. They also ruled that Kesha was liable for statements made by her press agent and lawyer. Shortly after, Kesha began posting in support of the Free Britney movement, but used photos of herself along with the hashtag, seeming to also protest for her own freedom. Only on June 30, 2021, did things begin to look better for Kesha. The judge ruled that the anti-SLAPP laws did apply to Kesha's case. This made it so Dr. Luke would now have to prove with evidence that the SA didn't happen and that Kesha knowingly and recklessly disregarded the truth in defaming him. The judge also allowed Kesha to pursue a counterclaim against Dr. Luke. After the hearing, Dr. Luke's attorney released a statement claiming they would win the case. At trial, Dr. Luke will prove to the jury, as he has always maintained, that Kesha spread a vicious lie to get out of her contracts. Kesha refuses to make any claim against Luke that she would have the burden of proof on, because she knows she would lose and that she is lying. On July 28, 2021, Dr. Luke appealed the judge's ruling that would allow Kesha to collect legal fees from him if he were to lose the defamation case. On October 20, 2021, the judge rejected Sony's attempts to keep their contracts and financial records a secret and ordered that they be unsealed within days. In an attempt to hide more documents, Sony claimed the release of information could cause substantial harm to their business interests because competitors would likely use it to encourage artists and producers to sign with other record companies instead of Sony. 4 months went by and the judge made a decision disappointing Kesha fans once again. On January 26, 2022, the judge ruled Kesha's previous lawyer Mark Garagos defamed Dr. Luke due to an old tweet he made about Lady Gaga. The tweet in question was from December 2, 2014, where Garagos shared an article titled "Lady Gaga Reveals She Was Raped as a Teenager," and along with it, he tweeted, "Guess who the rape was?" One person wrote Lucas, seeming to suggest it was Dr. Luke, and Garagos replied #bingo, which has now been deleted. Gaga has publicly and in a sworn court affidavit denied the allegations. Around 2 weeks later, Kesha became a hot topic on social media after Dr. Luke was involved in the creation of a disturbing song. On February 11, 2022, the hashtag #FreeKesha was trending after singer-songwriter Kim Petras released her EP Pop. The reason Kesha's name was brought up again was because Dr. Luke produced and co-wrote the entire EP, which contained 7 explicit songs. In the title track, Pop, Kim sings about whipping out private parts and foreplay. In Treat Me Like a Kim sings about foreplay and wanting rough intimacy, describing the act as being treated like a In XXX, Kim sings about wanting to get intimate and allowing the man to do whatever he wants to her, but first, he has to play it right by pleasing her. In Superpower, Kim sings about having the superpower to make a man and wants him to treat her like his ex in bed. She once again sings about wanting to be a for the man. In Throat Goat, Kim sings about fellatio skills and called herself Throat Goat and Sucking Queen. In a strange twist, she name drops Lady Gaga. Kim sings, "These lips go la la la, this throat Lady Gaga." In the next song, They Wanna Kim sings about all the different types of boys that want to get intimate with her and sings the song by repeatedly singing, "I wanna In Your Wish Is My Command, Kim sings about aggressive intimacy and wanting the man to take control in the bed. Due to the nature of the songs, with knowledge of Kesha's allegations against Dr. Luke, many people were disturbed. Something very off with Kim Petras' new EP being titled Pop, and it being entirely produced by Dr. Luke, a man surrounded with notorious accusations of Yeah, that's extremely disturbing, Kim Petras. Some people thought the Lady Gaga name drop in Throat Goat was inappropriate and disgusting due to the nature of Kesha's situation. Others were outraged and protested at Sony Music's LA office by hanging banners outside the building that read "Free Kesha" and "Mute Dr. Luke." Ben Abraham, the songwriter for Kesha's Praying, also spoke up about the situation. Kesha's still signed to Dr. Luke. Just in case anyone forgot, it's still in litigation. He still controls her releases. It's been 8 years. Women's voices matter. Michael Eisel, who Dr. Luke previously accused of aiding Kesha in her legal battle, tweeted, "People love to forget. We think about it every day. Free Kesha." Despite the outrage, the album still made its way to #1 on the iTunes chart. A month later, the court made a big move that shocked the public. On March 10, 2022, the courts reversed their decision to make Dr. Luke prove that Kesha was acting maliciously. They also reversed their decision that would allow Kesha to collect damages and legal fees. People expressed their anger with this decision. "This is so up. It makes me so sad. I really hope Kesha someday gets her justice. No, we need to investigate the judge like they did with Brit. Someone is being paid under the table. Investigate Kesha's case. Every decision from the start has had bias involved. Start with Judge Shirley Werner Kornreich, who was married to a lawyer who represents Sony and RCA. Free Kesha. Mute Dr. Luke. I stand with Kesha." Kesha reported Luke's 2005. Enough is enough. There is so much we don't know that goes on behind the scenes, and so many victims that are scared to speak up. Unfortunately, the dark side of the music industry isn't new. In 1989, Alanis Morissette was 15 years old when she was essayed by several men during the start of her music career. In 1992 to 93, R. Kelly essayed Aaliyah when she was 13 or 14 years old. In 2005, Lady Gaga was essayed by a record producer when she was 19 years old. This shouldn't be happening, but somehow, a lot of shady behavior behavior is often swept under the rug. But with more high-profile survivors sharing their stories, this may motivate more companies to start training programs to prevent SA. Kesha's inability to break her contract also brings to light how music contracts may need a reevaluation. As Kesha argued in her amended counterclaim, you can get a divorce from an abusive spouse. You can dissolve a partnership if the relationship becomes irreconcilable. The same opportunity to be liberated from the physical, emotional, and financial bondage of a destructive relationship should be available to a recording artist. This is the story of Kesha, just a girl chasing her dreams, but forced to give up her freedom and consent for the alleged pleasure and success of a businessman. Until her case is served justice, the Free Kesha movement stands strong.